Hi everyone, this is the walkthrough video, mainly for my new received Starseeker Oracle deck. I received this 2 days ago. It was a Kickstarter that I decided to support, and mainly because I already had the Starseeker tarot cards. Previously, I think I had them since the end of 2020, so it's been a while. Something to say that this one was the deck when I just started to finally invest in the indie decks, and I think this is the one that really did it for me. I chose to invest in the indie, and I think looking back, I'm really happy that I actually did, because this deck took me through some of the harder times I had during COVID, and gave me some good support and took me through, as well as kind of made me more brave and opened up to the opportunities of looking into other indie decks out there outside of just our standard RWS and TDM decks that are available mass market. So I think this is sort of the reason why I still hold on to it. It's dear to me, and to be honest, I never actually even had a flip through of this deck. I don't know why, but I think this is the time when receiving the new Oracle and having the Tiara side by side, I would be able to introduce you to both of them, and maybe show some of my thoughts, feelings and experiences. So maybe I'll start with Tarot, and then we'll go on to Oracle, and I'll have the flip through of the Oracle. So the Starseeker Tarot by Nikki Ferrara. If you have this deck, you're well familiar. If you don't, if you're first time looking at it, this is a one gentle, friendly deck that I could definitely recommend for all of everyone interested in tarot. So it is really well made and very special, I should say. It comes with the booklet. It has like a small page and small writing for each card, and it's really good information and really good write-up. So soft, so gentle, again, really friendly. Has spreads that can be used all the time. If you don't have your own personal spreads, this is always good to reference. Now onto the card themselves. So the box itself, again, I had it for a while. I've been using it a lot. It holds on like as if it's new. So good, great quality. So the deck itself is quite thick. It has the lavender backs with the stars, the moons, the similar lavender backs. Similar to the lavender backs, it has edging, and the front has a little bit of a border. It's a creamy border that I know at that time people don't really appreciate borders, but to be honest, this is really works well with the deck, and it's great. So the card stock themselves is quite stiff, it's thick, great quality. Again, I believe it's 350, and I'm not sure if I have the specs here right now with me, but I do believe it's 350. It's what they called a rose petal finish, very velvety to the touch, but the downside of it, it's not as slidey. So if I were to do something like this, it's still possible, but not as easy as some of the slidey decks out there. In terms of the riffle shuffle, well, I'm not much of a riffle shuffler having small hands, but it's not one of those decks that you would easily riffle shuffle. But again, being not much of a riffle shuffler, I do kind of shuffle both ways, and I don't miss out if it doesn't riffle shuffle, so I'm fine. Now, the image is, oh, how weird. I just shuffled. I had a moon before, and I'm back to the moon. So let us kind of put it aside. Yeah, that's clearly, there is a message there for me. So the deck itself, it's a digital art, but is the digital art that you can see there's a personal touch. There's the thought involved in every image, and it really comes down to your soul, to your heart, and you can associate yourself. What I like it and why I like this kind of a digital art, to me, when I was little, I had this book in this style that I always thought it was so creative, using textures, using photography and simple images to send the message. It's almost like, how should I say, like a tapestry type thing when you weave in different elements, different textures, like the texture of the bear, onto the image, and making almost like a collage style deck. So I think it's kind of a both collage and digital art, and it works. It does. It works for me really well. Sometimes like you can see like the images are really simplified, the faces are simplified, but still there's some gentle expression. There's something gentle about the body language of the movement, the pose of the person. This reminds me, like, I almost think it's like a little cotton balls. I know this is a dandelions, probably the field of just making a wish, blowing a dandelion. Again, very much like rooted into the experiences, the childhood experiences, the feels, the dreams. I love this emperor just because of this green grass, the texture of the green grass and the flowers on the back, the strong sun, just so direct. It can burn you, but it can also eliminate all of the issues. The Fool, yeah, just beautiful. These cards are not in order. I never done the flip through. These cards are just the way they are, that they come out from the box. And yeah, I love these dresses. It's almost like sheer fabric. I know there are like geometric blocks and you don't really see, but still through that pattern you see the flow, you see the sheer, you see the lightness. There's sparkles through the elements, and the ocean, the picture of the water itself incorporating with the texture of the rocks. I love it. I just find it so creative. The stars, how they're sprinkled through, and even the objects when they're meant to shine, like the lantern of the hermit, it portrays just the atmosphere. It's very atmospheric. Yeah, that's what I should say. Like very, very atmospheric. I love this death. There's a universe inside of it, inside of the cloak. Four of the Wands, Justice. There's a lot of purples, pinks and teals. I do have an amethyst here because this deck is very much like, reminds me of the amethyst energy that it has. It's not just soft, it's also very direct, but it's a gentle, direct deck. It will show you the issues, it will describe the issues, but in the most gentle, caring way. I like this High Priestess. Again, she has the veil full of little stars, and as well as in her hair and the sparkles. I just, yeah. I love it. So, you know what? I'm sure there's tons of other walkthroughs online and flip-throughs. I'm not gonna spend too much. You can go ahead and find a good video if you do want to have a detailed walkthrough, but I do really love this deck. And obviously this is the reason why I've decided to get the Starseeker Oracle. Now, I don't have much Oracle in my collection. I'm just slowly starting to acquire Oracles and work with Oracles. I solely worked with Tarot before, just had a few Oracle decks, but maybe like 1 or 2. So this is again, kind of going back to how me getting into the indie decks and deciding to splurge. In the same feeling, deciding to splurge an Oracle deck. I was able to do the early bird special, but the shipping still always kills. But regardless, I'm still happy that I got it. I kind of quick flip through and look through the deck. It's still in order, so I wanted to share and make this video. It's very similar booklet, and if you would want to compare, this one's more teal, this one's more pink. Also a page description for each card. You have the key and the key hole. It has some description on how the structure of the deck works, which is always great to read about. So there are 48 cards that are that the Oracle itself, and then has additional 12 guides. And then there's also gifts. There's 4 gifts. And then there's additional 4 affirmation cards that were added as part of the Kickstarter campaign. It is very meditative, grounding before reading. I really want to get connected to it. And again, the images are really speak for themselves, but also using the guides helps. It says, with a great leap you fly through the seeker's portal. You walk the path following the stars. They guide you to your deepest truth. This one was 137 out of 2,000 that are issued. This is the first edition. I think after the Kickstarter campaign now being shipped, you'd be able to go and get the deck from the creator. I think she has an Etsy, and you can pre-order it there. So onto the cards themselves to compare to tarot. So this is the backs. They're darker hue of purple, also with stars and the moons. The edging is done in this lilac color with the sheen, with a little bit of a sheen. These ones are more of a matte, darker edging, and these ones are shinier. But it's like a matte sparkle, not shiny, not sticky, beautifully done. The cards themselves are the same thickness and quality cards, but the finish, it's less of a, it's matte finish, but it's not really rose petally finish as tarot cards. It's more of a, has a little bit of a slip, so, well, can't really slip them, but maybe it's just me. But I think there's a little bit more of the slip. That's what it describes. Now, I do like that feel of a rose petal finish. I know this moon, I think I'm just going to keep it in front of me because it doesn't want to go back into the deck. But you can see it has a little bit of prints that from my fingers, but I don't know. I still really like it. The rose petal finish, to be honest, I think it's my only rose petal finish deck. It's not really popular finish out there, but it is so luxurious. It gives that velvety softness. I kind of wished the Oracle came in it as well, but I know a lot of people out there spoken against it, not really loving it. I kind of do. It gives me that special feeling of that special deck, that velvety softness again. So let's do a flip through. I only had one flip through when I received it. So let's maybe do a quick look at it together as well. So portal, contemplation, explore, healing waters, clearing, she's crying. Sometimes these waters, the healing waters, can clear through. You have to get it out without keeping it in. Inner peace, patience, sacred workspace, fear, alone, intuition, ritual, stuck. She needs to spread out. She outgrew her space. Movement. There is even that flow through the air, water. I think it looks like a water or air, and that sheer fabric. Simple forms in a deep message. Change. Gratitude. This is my dream, to go into the redwood forest one day, see these trees break through. Abundance, burden, open to receive. It's almost like a Reiki practice. I remember my friend did Reiki. This is the feeling that I had, the image that I have in my head from that time. Connection. It's like sharing. It feels like they're opening up to each other and sharing something very sacred. Being far removed from everyone else, just two of them. Comfort. The past. Path of shadows. Yeah, again, I have this moon card in front of me. Many times when I think about moon and walking through the dark forest and seeing the shadows and walking that path in order to get through with the moon illuminating, there's something very, very connecting between, very similar between these cards. Anguish, fury, awakening, clarity, very illuminating light, confusion. She has a blindfold. Quest. I mean, what I like about this deck, sometimes we have this very clear image and very full of light, and sometimes you have this dark picture with, but it's still so atmospheric. There's this air, there's this mist. You can almost feel it looking at it. And this is how she was able to achieve it, through that combination of collage images and textures adding in. Discipline. Now, I think this is the card that I'm going to put on my altar, because that's what I've been missing for some time, is that discipline to meditate, to find time to go into myself. hear my thoughts and silence them. Suppression. This card, when the first time I saw it, 2 days ago when I was flipping through it, I find it so cruel. That it's cruel. Suppression, it is cruel, and that's what it's shown. Protection. It's like over the distance, sending protection to the ones we love, and knowing now how much some people really, really need that. Our relatives and loved ones that are far removed. Depletion. Falling. And the opposite, this picture doesn't have all the textures like the ones before. And sometimes when you're falling, you feel like you're just going deeper and deeper, and the world gets silenced, and there is no textures here. It just feels like one big going down into the abyss. And I love how simple this is, yet how deep the meaning. Flow. The water. The strong water flow can move the earth. Freedom. Rest. Joy. Skipping stones. Still childhood memories. Grounding. She gives roots and smelling the earth. Conflict. Yeah. Again, when they don't see the texture as much and it gets quiet. Conflict. Sometimes during the conflict it gets quiet. Hi. So I had to stop, pause before. I was filming the video yesterday and I haven't finished, and this is the following day. I decided to continue where we stopped with the walkthrough of Starseeker Oracle. So I was flipping through the cards, and I think we stopped at the amends, and I'm just going to proceed. Sorry for interruption, but as you know, living in a household full of family members and pets, things not always go as planned, and I never have enough time. So these are my amends. And to get back into it, I guess this is some of the cards in this deck. You can notice right away are talking to each other. You have a card like conflict, and then you have a card amends that are very similar in the way they portray two figures having a conflict, and almost feels like a whole earth opens up in between them and creating this void, and finding amends and turning back to each other and finding the way back to reconnect and building bridges. And these are the stardust flying through as the first building blocks for that connection. The next card is death. Transformation, moving through some sort of almost like a border. You can define a pivoting point, new life. And the new life is the last card, the 48th card on the regular cards before we move to the next group of cards. And so 48 card represents the wheel of life and shared experiences and emotions. And the next 12 are guides that appear to offer new energy, advice, and direction. So we have a team, the masked one, inner child, and you can see that this group of guides is a different border. It's more of a lilac border versus the more neutral in the previous cards. Inner child, secret keeper, the student, the storyteller, the visionary, the priestess. The priestess comes into us here as well. And again, I love the priestess before I mentioned in the Starseeker Tarot card, and then this is the priestess in Oracle, and she is as mysterious, as beautiful as before, full of knowledge. The creator, the warrior, the hero. We got also this big hero card with the Kickstarter. And I should say there was also inner child and the portal, the first one. So these additional 3 cards we got as part of the Kickstarter. The healer. She really has a reminiscence of the Empress with the stars at the crown. The mirror. Okay, so we're done with the guides. The next 4 are gifts. I think that's right. The 4 gifts. And the gifts are like golden tickets to Willy Wonka. That's what she's comparing it to. There's external opportunities and blessings. Very similar to the energy of the aces in the tarot cards. So the opportunities. And the border has the luminescence sheen to it. The mirror. And I already read the explanations for each, and as usual, the explanations are beautiful. The stories behind the meanings of each card is beautiful. I strongly recommend to always reference the guide. The mirror that helps us to observe and look back at what we are. The map, the direction, the gift of direction, the key, the seed. And the last 4 cards, I don't think they were originally planned to be part of the deck, but they were added later and during the Kickstarter campaign. And these are affirmation cards with the wording. The first one is, I am unafraid and free. It is a blessing to be me. Next one, it is safe to trust myself. I embrace the mysteries of life, or at least the need to know. And the last one, I am passionate, I am determined, I am capable of creating anything I desire. So again, very, very positive. But it's not to say that the deck is just gentle fairy tales and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns. It's not. It has both. It embraces all aspects of our life, negative, positive, dark, and light. It does talk to each other, the cards, like the way I showed the connection and amends. Also, there's a future and the past. How there's, where is the past? Just the example of how the cards are talking to each other and creating that sort of a balance in things. So this is the future and the past. And you see sort of the story unfolds from the beginning all the way through, and how it relates to our lives and how it relates to the things that we come across. So I really like it. I'm looking forward to using the Oracle. I'm probably gonna just use Oracle by itself to get familiar. And then I'm gonna start incorporating in the readings together with the tarot cards. So this is just to see how similar in size they are. Of course, there is a little bit thicker, just due to the fact that there are more cards. So overall, very nice vibe and beautifully done.